All right. Hey, there's sometimes that God just kind of puts something on my heart and on my head, and I'm like, God, why are you telling me that now? What is that? Where is that coming from? And what I've learned over the years is that I don't question it and just sort of write it off as, God, you're weird. Quit doing stuff like this. Leave me alone. I'm trying to do my life. I kind of sit back and I go, okay, I'm going to listen to that. I mean, I have to tell myself, hey, listen, pay attention, because God is trying to say something. And I don't know exactly where this is coming from, and I don't know who it's aimed at or who it's sort of addressed to. And a lot of times I have to turn inward and go, well, that's you. You need to shut up and listen. I want to address real briefly, because next week we're going to talk Easter. We're going to talk about the healing aspect of Easter. And one thing I know a lot of us, myself very much included, is that we don't necessarily need physical healing as much as we need healing from addictions and addictive things in our life. And I'm not necessarily talking about just, drugs, alcohol, all those things that we kind of categorize, pornography, all these. I think sometimes that phone in your hand is incredibly addictive. And these are things that we continue to say, I want to get away from that. I want to stop doing this. I want to stop doing this. I want to stop doing this. I want to live a better life. I want to do this. I want to do this. And I think we kind of just get ambushed. And God just continued this week to point out this passage to me. And it's from 1 Corinthians 10:13. I'll read it. It's a familiar passage. I just want to read it to you. And it's really beautiful in context. So if you'll come on Wednesday night, you'll hear things in context and not just sort of a verse thrown at you. But Paul writes to the Corinthians as he's been addressing sort of the sins of Israel and how they grumbled and moaned and complained and complained and complained. And God's like, forget it, Moses, get out of the way. I'm going to wipe them all out and start over with you. And Paul writes to the Corinthians, who is just a really screwed up church, all right? They had issues like you wouldn't believe issues. Okay, we're boring church compared to the Corinthian church, all right? But he writes to them and says this, I need you to understand this, no temptation has overtaken you except what is common to humanity. There's nothing new. One thing I hear a lot is, oh, you don't understand, Bob, you're 53 years old. You have no idea what it's like to be a 13, 14, 15-year-old. Like, well, I kind of was one. Made it through. Did pretty well. They go, no, you don't understand what the temptation. I'm like, no temptation has overtaken me except what is common to man. It just may take a different form, but it's the same temptation. It's the same lie. And it's just lies. But God is faithful. Some of y'all may need to just stop right there. Your God is faithful. He is not going to abandon you. He is not going to leave you behind. He knows exactly who he is, and who he is who he is and who he will be constantly, forever. He is never going to go, I think I'm going to take the day off from being God. No, he is faithful. And he will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able. He won't allow it. Remember the story of Job? He goes, Satan, check out my guy Job. He's faithful to me. Satan's like, go, let me take a shot at him. He goes, okay, but you can only go this far. Why? Because God is faithful, and he will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able. But with that temptation that he allows, he will also provide a way of escape so that you are able to bear it. And again, I don't know what addictions, what propensities, what things, what sins get you over and over and over. I know mine. I know mine quite well. And trust me, don't think just because I stand up here and teach from the Bible that I don't have those, that I don't get tempted. Trust me, if Satan takes me out, he takes a lot of you with him. So I know I've got to be on my guard. I know I have to understand that's a temptation. That's a temptation. That's a lie. I am not going there. And I claim this verse so often that God will allow me to be tempted. All right? Understand that. God is going to allow you. And how many of you got to choose what you were tempted by? Did anybody give Satan a list and go, here's the things I'm allowing you to tempt me with? Wouldn't we love that? So don't think for a listen to me. Don't think for a second that the thing you are tempted by is your orientation or your character or who you really are. No, because I would be a mess if you defined me according to my temptation. No, those temptations, those are the things you fight, not the things you identify. But know this, he will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able to stand. And he will give you a way of escape. Claim that this week. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not going here and look for the way. Say, God, show me the way. Give me runway lights. Here is the way of escape. And you know, sometimes it's simple as walking away. Sometimes it's simple as just turning away, turning something off, picking up the phone, having a conversation with someone